ex, that's it. We don't want to have anything to do with them and their new life or whatever. And so to have that relationship level, that level, and again, I always go back to the level of maturity because I have some friends that are Caucasian. And I remember one time my friend was telling me that he was going to dinner with his ex and her husband, him and his wife. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah. And he's like, I'm thinking about asking her to work on a project for me. And I said, really? And he said, yeah. He was like, well, what's wrong with that? I said, well, I'm be honest with you, that's some white people stuff there because black people, if you say I'm going to go work with my ex on this project, oh no, it ain't finna be that. That wife is not gonna allow you to be able to go work with that ex. But to have that level of maturity to say, we can be adults. We have children, and we don't try to turn the kids against that ex. And so many times that's what happens in blended relationships. There's animosity toward that new wife. And I've seen it over and over again. And I'm going to let Miss Lorraine talk here in just a sec. But Miss Lorraine, you have just opened our eyes this morning.
Yes. Correction. When we visit my ex-husband, we don't stay in his house. We stay in his sister's house.
Oh, okay.
But we visit his house.
Okay, so, gotcha.
Yeah, we visited his house. And likewise, when he would come here for graduations, to pick up the kids for summer, he comes to our house, and he and my husband talk and we all just talk and laugh, so
That's great.
It's no, I'm with who I'm with. So it's no jealousy, none of that. We share children. So we will always be connected, like for life,
yes.
As he will with the mother of his daughter. They will be connected for life. So, and just now and today, our daughter has a baby, a daughter. So the grandmother, the maternal grandmother, the biological maternal grandmother, his daughter's daughter, her mom has to talk to my ex-husband. I have no qualms with that. She has to get the baby from me sometime. I have no qualms with that. I take her to her house. We're just people. I think if we get in the goal and get in our mind that we're preparing our children to grow up to serve God, and they're not our tangible items. We're prepping them.
Say that again.
That our children are not our tangible items. They don't belong to us. We're just preparing them to serve God. Think about if you live in a house and you have a sidewalk in front of your home, and that grass that's on the other side belongs to the city. But guess what? You have to maintain it. So it's the same scenario. The children we're just preparing them to grow to serve God. So we mess them up when we think that they're our tangible items. They're not our sofa, our cars. They're not items. They're humans, and they're here for a reason. And that reason is to serve God. So we have to prep them for that. But when we start thinking of them as our own, we make mistakes.
Yes, that is good.
We make mistakes. A pastor, my previous pastor, she used to always say, you got to get that mindset out of your head of my for it no more. And we have to think about our kids that way when it's in relationship. Children learn relationships at home.
Yes.
So if you make what you're doing dysfunctional, evil, mistrusting, well, that's how they're going to look at all people. Not just a husband or wife, but a coworker. Or everybody is going to be that evil to them. Because that's the way you have to be careful what you bred in their mind. Let your children have an open mind to the world. This is God's world. And if you close them off, you're setting them up to go through a lot of pain and to ultimately serve the devil. So you have to be very careful with that, especially when you're blending families, because children want to be loyal to one parent. You have to teach them you can be loyal to both of us. You just love us. The loyalty will come. Just love us. And we're not synonymous. That's your dad and I'm your mother. There's nothing synonymous about that. But the love can be synonymous. And we have to teach our children that.
So what rules did you guys put in place when you first started blending your family, or when you came into the revelation of, okay, I have to change the way I handle this because I have to see it from my husband's eyes as well. What rules did you set in place? Was there a sit down with either you and the child and the husband, or a sit down with the mother and say, look, here's the rules over here. And I know your mother's rules are over here, but they may be a little bit different when you come to our house. And, was there any type of meeting to talk about how you guys were going to move forward once you came to that revelation?
Because when I did come to the revelation, it was through Christ. So it's hard to sit and explain Christ to someone who's not where you are spiritually. So I had to just keep praying and asking God to show me. So something appeared, and a situation appeared, and it happened. Prime time. I was told I could not discipline his daughter because her mom didn't want me to discipline her. So I couldn't correct her, or I couldn't discipline her, and I would have to talk to him. And the worldly Lorraine would have flipped out on that. But because of Christ, I said, okay. And I said, look at God. He presented this. This situation has been presented for me to, in effect, show them that this doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So on Saturday mornings, as I aforementioned, I get up and I leave early. So this particular Saturday, she runs downstairs and we get in the garage, get in the car. And I said, hold up. Where are you going? And she said, well, we're going to Foley today, right? I said, yes, but you can't go. Go get your dad for me. So he come back out, and I said, well, I hate leaving her here. Because we are a trio, right, girls? And they say, yes, ma'am. I said, but unfortunately, your mom doesn't want me to discipline you. And she doesn't want me to correct you, discipline you, based on whatever you told her. So she's feeling some kind of way. And the person I am, I'm going to respect your mom. Okay? And your father told me this, and I'm going to respect it. So you're going to have to stay here with him today.
Wow. I bet you that caused her to say, you know what? I must change the way I act.
It was hard on my husband than it was, because he had some plans. So he had to stop his plans.
Yes.
So for the first time in all these years, he had to spend the whole day with her. And she was upset the whole day. So while we were in Foley and we went to Pensacola, then we went to Crestview, he kept calling, when are you coming back? When y'all coming back? I was like, well, I don't know if we'll come back early in the morning because I got to go to church. So we'll just travel back. Well, you didn't take any clothes? I said, well, they got Walmart anywhere. So we're going to stay at Cousin Weeta's house. So so we stayed at, so it was hard on him.
Wow.
He was used to his Saturdays, so he had to be forced to deal with it. But it wasn't forced by my voice. It was forced because of your situation you created. And I promise you, 2 weeks later, all that changed. Baby, you can discipline her.
Yeah.
Because my thing is, if I got to call you to discipline an 11-year-old, well, then that 11-year-old can't be with me.
Yeah, especially when you're out and about, I understand.
Now, don't get me wrong. She didn't require discipline. She didn't require discipline like that because she was 11. So she was, I didn't have to correct her or do it. She was fine. But the thought that you're telling me these things, you're limiting me in my home. And that just doesn't work. What you do at your home is yours, and what I do here is mine. You want to discuss it, call me. Let's talk about this. Let's bring all parties together so it won't be any hearsay.
And that is a great point. Bring all parties together, and all parties. And I know what you mean by that, but I want you to explain it. What do you mean by all parties?
Anybody who had anything to say, whatever she said at home, I don't know. And to this day, I never inquired because it didn't matter. All that mattered was the resolution of a matter. So whatever was said at home, she should have said it to her mom. So her mom became part of that party.
So
if it affects me, I became part of that party.
Yes.
And if my husband has to recite what they're saying, he's part of that party. So let's sit down and let's hash this out. Let's find out the root of it instead of just going off of it. Let's find out what that is so we can resolve it and never occur again.
Wow, that is some good advice. The power of a blended family. And you can have a successful blended family. All you have to do is make sure that everybody is on the same page before this, when you guys find out that you want to be together and that you want to, ultimately get married. That's when that meeting needs to take place. Well, guys, this has been another successful show on the Color Outside the Box podcast. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you, Miss Lorraine, for being a part. Again, if you are in the Mobile area, or she actually handles people that are nationally. So if you are in need of individual and business tax services, tax resolution, business consulting, tax consulting, small business payroll, give LSE Services LLC a call at 251-202-0497. Thank you again, Ms. Lorraine, for being a part of the Color Outside the Box podcast. And guys, have an awesome day. Color Outside the Box is a podcast series that focuses on creating a better you. Whether it's advice about family, relationships, raising children in this technological world, marriage, or careers, we seek to find the answers to help you live your best life. So start your Monday morning off right with me, your hostess with the mostest, Princess Miller, on Color Outside the Box right here on iTunes and everywhere podcasts can be heard.